Hey man, let me out of this car.
Basement. Hello, hello.
What's up, Billy? What's up,
So
Kevin?
can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yeah. My camera
So,
is
man,
working, you guys.
I think, Jimmy, for the last couple of weeks when I've done this, we've been just hearing that sound by my microphone picking up my computer monitor sound.
Really?
Travis, my computer crashed and I had to get a new hard drive, and, I set all this stuff up a long time ago. It's been set for all that time, and there's virtual cables, regular cables, and
Fuck.
I can complicate anything. Yeah.
I do everything with USB because then you don't have to worry about any kind of noise. So
Yeah.
Well, I tried. Most of my stuff is USB, like for my Stream Deck, for my I mean everything is ran through USB.
Yeah.
But half the time it's like,
oh, I hear you. I don't have the switching setup you guys do. Not at all.
Sit there and rework it and like kind of refigure, because I got like a 15 or a 20 piece Stream Deck where I got all the silly buttons. But
It is pretty handy to do this sometimes. If you
the Billy's got ultimate shit there.
True. I don't have enough opportunity to just do that to people, unfortunately. I would love to be able to just whip that out or something.
That's pretty cool though.
This is the Rodecaster is what I'm using, and I forget to use a lot. Like this would be a good one when we start.
Let's get ready to run.
I always forget.
Yes, sir. 100. That's actually pretty cool.
What's up, Brandon?
What's up, Brett? Courtney, Jeremy, Chris. Hi, everybody. I'm sure there's a lot more people watching, but okay.
Yeah.
Travis.
So, man, what's new? We're all excited.
Not a whole lot.
Right? We understand that you're leaving Las Vegas. They say even the mob left Las Vegas.
I'm not leaving Las Vegas. No.
I was putting a rumor together. A rumor fires out.
I've actually been asked by quite a few people, like when I'm going to move to Tennessee, and
I figured that, and that's why I just asked that.
Yeah, the answer is hopefully never. I'm not a fan. I love the climate here. Like it's not that anywhere else sucks. It's just nowhere else is as good as here. So no, I'm a pretty big fan of the weather and everything that Las Vegas has. So
yeah, I like Tennessee though. It's pretty. It's beautiful there, man. Oh my God.
It was a shame that when I was there, I was in there right after CES. And it was right when the ice snap was happening across the United States.
Oh, so that's harsh.
Most of it was actually shut down. So yeah, but we visited the facilities in Tennessee. I saw some of the other buildings that are going to be stuff that we're leading up into, and then we flew up to New York for a couple days, and I got to meet all of the staff and the founder of Ioxus, and had some meetings with the engineers there, and met with the staff that actually does the manufacturing of the capacitors and the Titanate products. So
yeah, that's cool.
Look forward to working with them. It's one of the few times where I walk into a place and I'm like, holy crap, there's a whole lot of smart people here.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah. So they can use a little help in the marketing department and kind of with some direction on things. But these guys know more about capacitors than more about capacitors than I do about batteries, and make some really cool products. So I look forward to working with them. But to give you a sense of the scope of the place, there's if I had to guess, there's probably around 100 plus employees there. I'll have to check with Scotty on the exact number, but there's quite a few people there. It's not quite kicker size, but it's a big building. So
yeah.
But yeah, we got back together in I believe it was November. It was the first time we started having the discussions, and everybody kind of had a weird year last year. We had a good year and a bad year at the same time. We had the most growth that we've seen since the first couple of years of JY, and we have more dealers now than we've ever had before by probably a margin of 3 times. So we have almost 140 dealers.
Ford met home.
Yeah, and so, but at the same time, we had some issues bringing in payments this summer, and some substantial amounts of money got caught up for too long, and that affected how quickly we were able to grow. Even though we grew substantially last year, we could have grown quite a bit more. So that just kind of put us in a weird spot, and I had options to kind of pull out some more loans and just patch it up, which would have worked because we have all the sodium and everything coming out. But at the same time, we had just announced that we were pregnant as a couple. So I started kind of thinking longer term. And when I started JY, it was not supposed to be a me always calling the shots thing. And when Yui exited a few years ago to go run his family business, that put a lot on me that I just didn't necessarily want to do on my own, but I didn't, I was all in at that point. So I didn't have a choice.
You had no choice. I was going to say that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I shouldered all that, and it's not something that I'm not capable of, but it's not where I excel at,
Yeah.
I am the idea guy. I am hey, I need to communicate these ideas and disseminate information for people. And kind of bringing people and deals together and kind of stuff like that is what I'm really good at. And the management side and dealing with the days in and out, I don't necessarily like, So,
no, understandable. But
yeah,
we all have our plus sides. And I couldn't do it either, truthfully. I really couldn't.
well, we did it basically for about 25. I just saw something pop up on my thing. 9 years. JY is going to be 9 years old. And I just saw Andy's comment. What's funny is I have the Kicker hoodie on, and then actually I have a Kicker shirt on under the Kicker hoodie.
What's up,
It's the Kicker day.
WNBA, how are you?
It's one of my nice warm hoodies, and it's a little chilly here. It's 50 degrees here today.
It's actually warmer here than it is there. Wow.
Sometimes it does happen. It's been raining bad here.
It's surprising.
But, see, I've done JY for the last about 5 years, kind of on my own as the one calling the shots, and I just wasn't feeling like I was going to get the company where I knew it could go and what its potential was on just my own. So, and this is where kind of Scotty ends up coming into the picture. A lot of people don't know me and Scotty's history. There is a lot of history there, and my car audio career actually started with Scotty Johnson. So, yeah, I have known Scotty, and I have done business with Scotty in some way or another since 2009.
Wow.
Yeah. So my very first business was actually distributing for Sundown. But when we went to go get the loan, they said they wanted us to have more than one brand to distribute. So it ended up being Scotty Johnson and Nick Lemons of Stereo Integrity that also signed on to that to, sell us products to distribute, so we could actually get our first loan to start my first car audio business. It was my first business, but it was my first car audio business. So, and back then, actually, over the years that we were doing that, I became the number 4 sales for Sundown Audio worldwide. So
Dang.
yeah, we did big things with Sundown back in the day. I'm kind of excited to be able to work with the crew again and help out over there on some different projects and stuff. So yeah, no, so I came back to him in November, and I said, hey, let's discuss what JY can do for Systematic and what Systematic may be able to do for JY. You know, I'm not in any crazy precarious situation, but for me to hit the growth that I want to hit and do the things that I want to do, I need help. So
It makes sense, absolutely.
yeah, so he actually flew out here, and he flew out here on Thanksgiving, and we had a meeting on Thanksgiving, and we met at JY, and we were there for probably 7 hours just talking about everything. So
that's a long time.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Our families both were not extremely happy with us for this decision.
Okay, you know, understandable, but yeah.
Yeah.
But you can do what you gotta do.
If you know me, I'm a workaholic. I work too much. I work
all the time.
Yep,
Never stops.
It's not really a choice. It's just a part of who I am, and it's if I don't get it out and I don't do it, then it's gonna drive me crazy. So
he's right.
That's a commonality that Scotty and I share. What's kind of crazy is it's not uncommon for us to work from like 8 o'clock in the morning until 12 or 1 o'clock at night and still like want to work, but know that you have to go to sleep to be able to do the same thing the next day. So
yeah.
Absolutely.
So we started the discussions then, and we worked everything out through December. And then we had some loose ends that we had to get tied up in January, which we were able to do. And I flew around for about a week, basically absorbing what resources Systematic has as a whole, because Excess Power is kind of a small piece of the whole systematic puzzle. It's got Systematic Power and Systematic Audio. It over the last few weeks, what my position is exactly in SPS is not super defined, but I am working on about 24 projects over pretty much every company. And we have a lot of, like, it's not one of the cool things that I'm working on right now that I think I can talk about. There's a battery show in Tokyo at the end of the month that Scotty will be attending. So I'm actually setting up all the marketing, all the words that'll be in the booth I'm doing, and kind of the whole sales pitch and vibe and what products do we want to push in what markets. So it encompasses quite a bit. Huh?
Is there a huge market over there? Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah. So this show in particular, it's and here's the deal. What's one of the kind of big things is a lot of the stuff we're working on isn't even have anything to do with car audio.
There's lights and linking.
Yeah, well, the lights thing is even another separate company for him that that company is actually doing really well. And he doesn't need me to kind of come in and figure anything out. Those guys are really attacking the market, and they're a really cool high-end option that has traction right now. So Trustfall is who you're talking about, the lighting company.
Yes, sir.
But
their exact name. Yeah.
And it's kind of a weird name for a lighting company. Scotty could probably expand on that. I haven't asked, but the other things that we're working on some products, just different programs in the different companies, kind of how the different websites flow and what the objectives of the websites are. Stuff that we've done a really good job at with JY. Go on the JY site. It's very clear that we are pushing you to go find a dealer And if you're not looking for a dealer, we've got a ton of information on there for you to learn how to just do car audio in general better, and be safer with the products that we sell and everybody else sells, and just to make people better informed. So
100%. There's been a lot of videos where I've watched them. I mean, even though I know what I'm doing, and you know, I'm no rookie by any means, but I still watch everybody's videos,
Yeah.
everybody's tips, because you never know. I mean, there might be this little bitty hidden secret that you just have missed for years upon years.
Yeah.
And I kind of watch everybody, seriously. I mean, as silly as it sounds, all the way from Steve Mead to you to just everybody. I watch everybody in all the videos, and I just
give me a water.
sit back and I'm like, oh, there's quite a few tips and secrets that I've learned over the last probably couple of years just watching videos.
Yeah.
But
no, and I fully agree. Like, especially if we start getting into sound quality stuff that I've gotten into in the last probably 3 or 4 years, and I've had a lot of fun with. With this last weekend, one of the classes that I attended that I was really excited to attend was Andy Weimer from Audio Frog, how to make great mid bass, which isn't hard. Like, to be very clear, is not hard. You don't need tons of speakers. Like, there is a handful of things that you kind of need to do, like having your crossover set correctly. Just having your crossover set artificially low doesn't necessarily give you more mid bass, because a lot of your mid bass actually comes from your sub. So if you try and make your 6.5-inch speaker play 65 hertz and you're wanting a ton out of it, that's not what that driver is supposed to be doing there. And Andy's much more eloquent at explaining it. In an hour and a half, he can help you figure out how to make your car sound much better than I can.
Well, let me ask, what range do you consider mid bass?
So, like, for what do I have my mid bass crossed at, or what?
Yeah, like 50 to 220, 65, 80 to whatever.
Realistically, I believe, because there is like an actual scale that determines this. It's not like a preference, but I believe that starts at under 100 hertz. I could be wrong, but it's like 100 hertz and down is bass, and then below 20 is sub bass, and above that it becomes mid bass up until I think it's the 500 to 800 hertz range.
Dang.
And then it becomes mid range, and then at some point it crosses over into the high range. So how I have my car set up, I've got the so in my car I've got Audio Frog GB tweeters and 2.5-inch mid ranges, and the tweeter plays 1750 and up to 20,000, and then I think it is 1750. I have to double check. It's either 1750 or 2750. I can't remember. And then I've got my 2.5s that play from 400 to 1750 or 2750, whichever one that is. You have them crossed the same area. And then my Stereo Integrity TM8s, because I've got 8s in the doors, and those play 400 down to 70, and then 70 down all the way down is the L7X on the Warhorse.
Yeah.
So
how are you? How's that treating you?
Absolutely love it. I don't beat the piss out of it, so don't take my review as one of the demo bros that's going to run the full 5K to it.
Right.
I'm probably running a couple 100 watts to 1,000 watts at peak to it. But I absolutely love it. And when I had it on the old amp, I had it on JP77 before, and we metered it, and we were able to do a 47 with it still. So 47 with a single 12 out of the trunk on a 2K amp. So that was pretty impressive, and especially in something that the DSP was not tuned at that point, to be very clear. So while my tune is on, I can't do that same number, but I can switch over into another tune. I haven't played with that. So that gets cut quite a bit. That doesn't play anywhere near potential. But one of the things that I'm trying to get Kicker to change their mind about, and I'm gonna have to text Irby about this again, but they say that the 12 needs 3 cubic feet, and I just flat out disagree.
That's a lot of space, yeah.
I know, and I feel like a lot of people may look at that and go, "Man, I can't fit that in my car, but I can fit around 12 in my car that space, so maybe I'll buy around 12 instead."
Yeah.
I would hate for somebody to do that because this sub works just perfectly in a normal size box, realistically.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the 8 personally. I haven't. I wish.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it.
Well, I know, they built that sub primarily for demo purposes, And they're probably thinking the demo kind of stuff we get at shows. They probably weren't thinking music, sound quality.
No, for sure. But even when I turn it up and I beat on it, I've never smelled it. And it is on the Warhorse at a half ohm.
They eat power.
So, yeah.
they handle a lot of power.
It's not gonna mechanically fail you in 1.5 cubes, especially if you're running rated on it.
What's up, Kyle? How are you, sir?
Right.
So, but I'm very pleased with that. I believe there's only a handful of us that have Warhorses at the moment, and that is one of the most efficient, bigger amps that I've had. Don't get me wrong; it's physically small. It's
so
like
bad.
it's like this long, but the fans are super quiet.
Show us.
I'm seeing similar voltage drop with it than I was with my JP77, and it's a lot more potential power. So seeing similar voltage drop kind of means that you're able to get more bang for your buck out of your electrical system when your amplifiers are able to.
I don't know. That's pretty bad.
I don't think people grasp the reality. A lot of people haven't been to Kicker, but even if you just go to Kicker and you just see the showroom and stuff, a lot of people don't grasp what 50 engineers do and how they can make things more efficient. And
that amp, to my knowledge, is a lot of Joe Hobart's baby.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, and he did a wonderful job with it. He checked off all the boxes that all of us asked for years ago. So I have not played with the comp mode. Maybe I should, but I guess it doesn't really matter for me. It turns off all the. I have a DSP to use it because you kind of need a DSP to use the comp mode. You don't have to, but it's recommended in my opinion.
Just badass.
So, are you gonna be out? You're not coming out for the showdown?
But I don't know. We'll see.
If you make it out, let me know. I'll let you hear it.
It's kind of iffy. We'll see.
It is. So I've got I tie it all together with a Helix Pro Mark III, and that gives me 2 sets of 31 bands on each channel. So yeah, so and it's got an auto tune functionality. So on one set of those 31 bands, we let the auto tune go and do its thing, and then I sit down and do a listening test, and I go back into the second set and I make a couple adjustments on each channel there. And man, in 30 minutes, I can do a tune that'll knock your socks off on stage depth, clarity, So I'm thoroughly impressed with Helix's products. They are necessary, realistically. Not Helix specifically. There's other brands like Audio Dynamics and Mooseway and JL. JL makes a bunch of bandastic products also. The Tweak is kind of my go-to $500, easy to set up, know what you're doing. Audio Dynamics is going to fall into that range also. Now they're a newer contender, but they're doing some really cool things. So they've got a really cool new 8-channel with 10 channels of DSP. So you got 2 out to go to a sub 2. That thing is really cool. So I actually run an 8-channel kicker in my car. I use the KXM.
I kind of wanted to hear that actually, because I know you got your. Explain to us, I guess I want to say some people that don't understand what an 8-channel is. Please
So,
do it.
It's an 8-channel multi-channel, but I have a 3-way setup on the front of my car. So I have a tweeter, a mid-range, and a mid-bass. And what I end up doing is I bridge the rear channels of the 8-channel, so it turns it into a 50x4 plus 200x2 for me. So, and that is a great way to get your mid bass where it needs to be, and you do not need a whole lot of power on your mid range. Like my highs scream; they get more than loud enough for anybody realistically that's driving a daily setup. You know, if you've got a 160 plus, then yeah, you need to look at adding some more drivers. But the more drivers you add in, the more potential problems you have, and you start possibly getting into phase issues, which Jeff from Claire will talk to you about comb filters and the issues that happen in liner maze. And he's not wrong in aspects of a lot of that. You know, the idea that you should try and get the amount of volume you want out of the fewest amount of speakers as possible for sound quality reasons is very true. You also want them to move as little as possible. So it's kind of this weird thing where like you almost want a super efficient thing, but things that are super efficient generally don't play a very wide range.
Yeah. See, that's a hard spot. I mean, yeah. You're absolutely right. It's like, you want efficient or do you want to play just silly? I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Efficient or silly.
Well, and that's how breaking it up into a 3-way
line in between.
Because then you're not asking your mid bass to play anything but mid bass. It doesn't need to be good at anything but mid bass. Same thing with your mid range. And then 90% of the work goes to your tweeter. Your tweeter plays almost 90% of the frequencies.
Right.
Do you have any tweeters I have blown and had to recode?
I did back in the day, but ever since I started getting into sound quality, I've never blown a tweeter. I've never blown a speaker since I've been in sound quality. So yeah.
I don't know. I still have that little bit of a little twitch, you know. Just a little twitch. I want to send that shit.
Well, and part of the nice thing is since I've got so much volume, I generally am never near like clipping. I don't ever have to worry about running into clipping or anything like that. So
understandable.
Yeah,
of course,
but
we all don't build like a cube and just have 27,000 speakers in there.
Hey, overkill is overkill, and you always have to do overkill.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm just saying that's a pretty cool vehicle.
You know, it's still in the talks. So I can't I'm not gonna get anybody's hopes up on exactly when it's gonna come out or anything like that. But through the acquisition that was talked about, and the Cube's not going anywhere. The Cube's still a JY Power thing. So yeah. We'll see it someday. I keep telling people that's gonna be my midlife crisis. I'm not gonna go buy a Ferrari or a fucking Lamborghini.
It's gonna be the Cube.
Yeah, because it costs.
It's gonna be the Cube.
Yeah, so if you're gonna spend your money on something dumb, like I just want to make sure the world can hear you.
All right.
So,
I kind of miss the Cube. It was badass.
It was a lot of fun, but I also don't miss it trying to kill me. Like every other time we took it out. And I don't miss paying people $7,000, even though like Gary and Killian hooked us up fat to move it around. Like he was way below everybody else, and it still costs like $7,000. So if I'm like, have my friends not make money, and I have to hand them a 4-digit, almost 5-digit check to move the thing. Woo!
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, like if Gary was making a good living on it, I would have felt a little bit better. But he was getting hugs and beers. So that's
Right.
Value. Damn it.
yeah. So,
Absolutely.
but
Hmm.
when and if it does come out, what I've talked about is putting it on a diet, and realistically, it'll probably just come back to Vegas. And if you want to come see it, it'll be available for a couple shows a year. Come see it at SEMA or something like that. It'll probably be available, but it's too big. If we do another project, I'm gonna make sure that this one still rips your foot off, but is transportable.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah, 21,000 pounds we shall not do again. So
How many thousands?
the last time we added it up, it was 21,000.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
once you had the truck and trailer in, we were 40-something thousand pounds going down the road.
Right.
No thanks.
You need a full-blown 18-wheeler for that.
Yeah, and that's when we switched over to Gary, and we even Gary had that really nice aluminum deck trailer. We
Mhm.
dented the
We're
aluminum deck.
stationed on the vehicle though.
We dented that aluminum deck in with the cube.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
he wasn't mad at us or nothing, but that was a warning sign.
Yeah.
It was a definite warning sign. Those side pods weigh like 2,000 pounds, though, 2,000 or 3,000 pounds, because they're all ferrite motors. So
Yeah.
when you put 80, 5-pound speakers in there on each side, and
That's a lot.
and
That's a lot.
then there's steel pods.
It adds up.
We got a 2x4 steel frame up top that actually holds those pods. So it's wild, but
It was pretty loud once you got it all up and running.
yeah, we got it to a 70 flat on about 10K. So
Dang, yeah.
nobody was able to ever be in it when we did that, because in the 165 range, people start doing weird shit, passing out. It wasn't like a 65 in another vehicle though, because we didn't have the hump, and the area where it actually measured that was not one tiny specific point. If you were in that corner, your whole body was subjected to that actual pressure. So it didn't fade, and it didn't fade like a lot of other builds do. I am kind of wondering that if someday, we were to build our own version of a hump in there, it wouldn't be a traditional hump, because it's just
Maybe
not
a smaller one. I mean, because at that point, you guys don't have to keep climbing because you're already there. So just maybe a smaller, miniature one.
Well,
Just to get that hot spot, you can't get that tuning up just a little bit.
Well, it almost would have to wrap around. So there wouldn't be a big loading wall like there is in most, and then it kind of comes around and then goes over the hump. The hump would have to be like an L in my mind.
Right. Absolutely.
And I don't know that would even
Get
work.
it out.
I don't know that it would. I don't know that.
You had to keep heading until it just stopped.
Yeah, because at that point, what you're actually doing in those extreme vehicles, you're not tuning. That is a tuned port. That opening in that hump is a tuned port, and you're actually tuning it to the volume on the other side. So whether or not that tuning would work out is kind of the question. You know what I mean? Would it work? I don't know. Maybe someday we'll find out. It really wouldn't be hard because the way it's all set up. I could put some angle iron in there. And
Crazy. I've been in that build quite a few times. I love it. It's very awesome.
I've never been in it full tilt. I never got in. You ain't never got in.
Me either.
No, I won't. I stuck my head in a few times, and that was about it. I liked it from 10, 15 feet away. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah, it was violent.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Back in
fun.
the day, it used to be pretty nasty. Absolutely.
But I would argue though, the van was so much more fun because we got to take it so many more places, and we still got.
It really was. The van was amazing. That's where I met you guys. That loud and clear.
That's where a lot of people really got to know us.
Yes. Absolutely. Just what the van was amazing. You and Huey.
And that
Rolling.
was supposed to be a small project. That started as a small project. Yui had brought me a different truck to rebuild for him, and that truck just was a mechanical nightmare. And what we thought was a good shell to build out of was not a good shell to build out of. So I told him, I was like, we just need to sell this thing. But this van that I used to sponsor, the guy that owns it is actually selling it, so maybe you should do that. And it was the Astro from Cliff. And at first he was like, yeah, I'll pop like 2 TS 3.5s in there and some essays. Yeah, that shit never happened. We ended up put ZV3s in there, and then had a kind of kerfuffle about that, and then ended up running SSAs for a show with 4 TS 3.5s and some AGMs. And it was popping 60s doing that, and just dropping into like a 10-volt range, and it was hilarious. It was a hodgepodge of AGM batteries, and
it was.
Yeah, it was bad. It was so bad.
Real bad. I mean, seriously.
So bad. So the year after that, we start JY, and I'm like, hey, this is the perfect platform to use for this. So we should put like 580s in here, and then we'll just load up with however many 3.5s. And then we went to the Z4s, if I remember right. We built Z4s for 1 year and rocked that. And we took it to Midwest SPL Finals, where the van at the time held the record from when Cliff Beal owned it. So this was the comeback for it. And this was kind of what Cliff had wanted to do with it. He wanted ZV4s, and he wanted a bunch of amps on the ZV4s. But in Cliff's time, lithium wasn't a thing, and he just wasn't able to put enough AGM in there to like support that. So he was never able to do that.
Yeah.
So I remember Chris Russ. He was right in front of us in line. And Chris goes up and breaks the van's old record and becomes the loudest person in Midwest SPL history ever, bar none. Nobody beat him. He was so happy, and we were happy for him, you know. So we pull up after him and actually end up topping that by like another 0.7, I think.
Dang. Awesome, but then heartbreak.
Yes, no, like
yeah.
Chris really worked for that, and then and we kind of the van just was like, nah, fuck you, that's mine.
Right,
the van did it. It's the van.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything. Like, we did rebuild one of the walls in the van, but we had not done any significant work. We just updated it.
The van was silly. I mean, I watched it for so many shows.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It went everywhere for 2 years, actually almost 3 years. Because after and actually, if you look at photos of that Midwest SPL, as soon as the number pops up, it was like a 64-7 or something like that. And me and you, everybody's cheering around us, and me and you are looking at each other like, because we wanted to do a 65. Like, we were dead set on doing the first 65 Midwest SPL. We were not set on being first or anything. We wanted the band to do 65. We had a number in mind, and we didn't get that number, and we were upset. Everybody else was cheering, but we were upset. So that drove us to move to the compacts. And at first we had non-supercharged compacts. Took that to Slam, and something actually happened with the head unit. Like, the head unit blew up and shot flames out of it and took like half the woofers out. We really don't know what happened there, but it came out of Mecca Park and Pound like hard. I think we saw an FO of like a 43 and some change at 6 feet, which is like wild. So wasn't able to hold it, obviously, because shit blew up. But that was going to be a pretty cool run. And then we switched it. When we rebuilt it, we added all the Neo caps, which made it less musical, which they'll always do. But they did make the peak go up by another 0.7. And by that time, we were doing a 66 on about 30K instead of about 55,000 watts to do a 65. So Neos are definitely worth it on music, definitely worth it for burps. Like Yui was able to demo so much better with the compact V1s than he was the ZV5s because it was louder on less power, meaning he could beat the shit out of it for longer. So
He's silly.
What does Jimmy? What does Chris Russ? What does DJ Rusticles have now? His vehicle is loud.
now, yeah.
You haven't heard it? That thing is
I
loud.
haven't heard it. I've seen the build up until now, and Chris is
Oh
a
my god,
monster now. He's had monsters. We can't even say he had a monster now. He's had monsters. The Jeep, damn near Trisha 70.
He kicked that thing off at Slamology, and I was like, "What in the world is that?" And he was just playing with it. I don't know what he did, but it's loud, man.
Bro, when Chris and Dad start a project, y'all motherfuckers better watch out. Like
Chris
that's
Russ
where
has got a nasty build.
yeah.
I want to say, if I'm correct, it's in the getting 70s at least. Just with him playing. And I bet there's more in there, seriously, but I don't know.
I don't know. It was
never had big
audibly loud.
power, and now he's got big.
I want to say they're the SSNDs or whatever, the Stephen Duncan, whatever.
SDD. So we make a part of those, and we actually engineered one of the solutions to fix that shit. So Jake would have made a ring for Duncan specifically. So we were printing those for Jake, and then Duncan being Duncan them. And but the problem was he didn't break the rings. He was still ripping the paper off the former. So me being me, I'm like, I know how to solve that. We just extend the ring down and extend the glue joint down, and we engage more of that paper. So more of it has to rip off. So it has to pull so much harder. And that worked. It moved. Okay, that moved the failure point.
Right.
The triple joint ring was no longer the failure area. So we were able to fix that. And Jake actually, I believe, just got done with the tooling on that. So it's cool that we're able to come in, because we do so much 3D printing, that we're able to come in and help companies develop new parts for their equipment. And then they'll buy it from us for a while, but we actively encourage them, like, hey, unless you're going to keep doing smaller runs of these, it's really beneficial to you guys to go and take this design that we've given you and tool it. So
go somewhere else.
Yeah. As soon as you need thousands of something, it tends not to make as much sense to 3D print. We love to keep our 3D printers busy, but we have a ton of projects that we're always kind of doing. So, and we have a lot of lower volume customers that it just doesn't make sense to pay $1,000 to $3,000 for some small tool. So, yeah, we do a lot of show awards too. We print a lot of show awards throughout the year for some of the local organizations. So,
send me some files.
Yeah, we will.
No, I got that one, and I've been playing with it a little bit. I'm working through the simple things that annoy me, like that first layer is wider than the rest of them.
Elephant's foot.
Yeah, that's right, and it's making me angry.
So on your models, put a 45-degree chamfer that goes in.
Small,
so that foot grows out.
Gotcha.
It ends up being straight.
Yeah.
There's don't worry, bud. There's solutions. Right. There's things in the program that you can do that help do that also. So some night we will we'll jump on video call or something, and I'll walk you through some of those things.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
No.
So listen. So going forward now, what are you doing with the other guys? What are you doing, and what company did you merge with? Technically, is it a purchase? Systematic. Okay.
Yeah. So
and who is that?
Systematic is Scotty Johnson, and so Systematic includes XS Power, Turbo Start, Ioxis, I believe a few other entities.
Yeah. Okay.
And then Systematic Audio owns Sundown Audio and a few other brands and shops and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. It's a big umbrella. but pretty much Excess Power, the ones that everybody knows, is pretty much Excess Power, right?
Excess Power and Sundown. Yeah, those would be the
Yeah,
two biggest.
and I guess Showtime.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Showtime Electronics. Yeah.
I didn't realize Showtime, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Scotty is Showtime also.
Yeah.
Understandable.
But
I don't know. Is that supposed to be known? Was I not supposed to say that?
I don't know. I mean, I
didn't
knew
know
about
that.
it before I was in the loop on this side.
Yeah.
But
I think I wasn't
you
supposed
might-
to do
you
that.
might have
I'm
screwed
sorry.
something with there. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah,
I
I'm
bet
sorry
that was
about that.
I'll
down.
find out. I'll get a message.
Tell me now.
I'll get a message that the Hitman are going to be.
I don't think I was supposed to do that, and I didn't mean
Stream
to.
actually got taken down 5 minutes ago because he read it coming up. The CIA. was
Right.
like-
Yeah.
No, but,
I stopped by and visited one time, but I forgot. It's been a while now. So
but
Dang it.
so realistically, not a whole lot changes for JY. In any kind of huge ways for JY, one of the big things is going to be, we have more stock. We will have better marketing materials because now it's not just going to be me doing things. I will get my harebrained idea, I'll sketch it up and crayon it together, and then I'm able to send it over to these like wonderful, talented people at Excess Power or at Ioxis, and then they do some stuff to it, and then they send it off to another person. So it's really about joining a larger team, and I'm helping manage parts of that team in exchange for those resources. So
Oh,
it's a
okay.
really unique opportunity, and that's why we've been kind of talking about it more as a merger than it is a purchase, because
Yeah.
not
Okay.
like I'm going away or anything. We're integrating the really great things about JY and the really great things about all these brands under Systematic together, and using resources to help grow all the different brands together. So JY is uniquely positioned because it is a we might have started as a Bill Basehead brand, and like you'd only find us at shows. You'd never find us in the store, to being a staple for car audio shops. There's a lot of car audio shops that don't want to sell any other electrical products other than our products because they've worked so well for them. They're able to make money on them. And that's why we're a little bit more expensive. But I still remember being the basehead wandering into a car audio shop, and they had those bullshit caps. And I'm not able to help that person if I'm not able to get into the shop.
Right.
To be able to get into the shop, you've got to be able to have margin, which means you're not going to be as competitive as online brands. But
Right.
we do white label for certain brands that do sell online. It's not exactly JY product, but you do have the confidence knowing that I designed it. It's manufactured here in the product, in our facilities still. So
I'm gonna grab something. I'll be right back, and I'll show.
Cool.
So keep going, sir. Keep going. Come on. Don't stop now.
Nevada. I drink probably 6 to 7 bottles of water a day. If I don't, I die.
No,
So, but it's been really great because I do not feel managed at all. One of the kind of big things that Scotty talked about, Scotty and I talked about, was that I haven't asked Jimmy to come to Vegas, Mr. Dan. I've done that.
Sorry, Shaz.
But
Have you seen these?
what is it?
No. What is that?
Oh yeah, we used them at the show this weekend. I need to grab
Man,
What is
Let me
it?
tell you.
I'm gonna shameless plug here for a moment.
Do it.
I bought one of these, but actually no. Sean Mayo gave me one, right? And I decided this little pack in here, this thing will crank my Ram 2500.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big diesel truck, right?
Yep.
Jimmy, you need one of these.
It'll charge your phone too.
Look at this. So they gave me one, but I bought a couple more. This thing cranks a 2500.
Yep.
Right?
Wow, that's pretty badass. I need one of them.
You need this, Jimmy. It's going to happen eventually.
I do need one. Yes, sir. I do.
I want to
Yeah.
plug another product that
Yeah.
some people in the crowd may like. But so while we were at IOXIS, we were talking about some of the products that they have that they don't feel are marketed correctly. And they've got this, it's a small cap bank that you can put on a motorcycle, on a lawnmower, anything that's going to use a small battery, the 4 to 6 amp hour AGM battery a lot of the time. But instead of battery, it's cap bank. And that cap bank will hold a charge for anywhere from 30 to 50 days. And once it's dead, you just have this little dongle that you plug into it. It charges it back up, and boom, within a minute or two, you're started back up. No more sticking batteries in these things that eat batteries every couple years. And I believe
right.
it costs similar to what one of the like bike premium AGMs are. I think they're around $200. But imagine never having to stick another battery in your lawnmower, or never having to stick another battery in your motorcycle that you daily drive.
My lawnmower's dead right now because I need a new battery.
Wouldn't you like to just plug something into it real quick and be like, boom, fires up, and
It
every
does.
time in the next month you need to use it, it's usable.
Yeah.
No more wasting money and wasting time too, because it's not like you find out that it needs a new battery and you snap your fingers together, or you probably need to use it that day. So you're gonna fucking haul your ass to the auto zone and pick one up and be grouchy that you had to go see people.
Yeah, but I gotta go again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most
I hate leaving the
stupidity
house,
for not
man.
plugging it in.
Yep, I hate leaving the house. Like, I'll leave for events, I leave for work, and that's about it. I've got my nice big array of screens that I can do all my work on. And I plank down, and I like it here. So
Yeah, I'm kind of the same person. I like to come home and stay home. I don't like to venture too many spots. Maybe I have to go get a little food and go back home.
mhm.
Man.
I will be traveling a fair amount for work now. Once a month, once every other month or so. But nothing too bad. Nothing I'm not used to pre-COVID. Still not pre-COVID levels. I will never get back to pre-COVID levels of traveling. So I do have a family now. You can't be gone 20 plus weeks a year and facilitate running a family. So
No, not well anyway.
no, I would like my kids not to hate me by the time they grow up. So
Yeah.
But,
Well, that's cool.
yeah, getting back to Scotty, one of the really kind of cool things is it doesn't feel like I'm managed at all. Me and Scotty have shared a lot of information with each other over the years. People don't really understand our relationship. We did have a spat about 7 years ago online publicly where we went at it. But if you were around back then, it wasn't a spat by like a lot of today's standards, but we debated and argued like intensely about products. We did not argue about politics, or we didn't call each other dumb. We didn't insult each other, but we had differences of opinion, and we were both pulling in engineers to like.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Sides. Yeah. So that's kind of the biggest kerfluffle that we've ever had. But we've always had a very good relationship, and even now that I'm working with the company, there's a lot of mutual trust and respect. And if I need to make a call, he gives me the room to kind of make those calls and do what I feel like I need to do. So I'm really appreciative that things have turned out the way they've turned out, and it feels like a really good fit. A lot of people ask me, now that things have kind of gone through, how do you feel about it? And I honestly even better now than I did before. Kind of a unique person when it comes to change and giving up amounts of power to people. So I've made bad decisions in the past and given people power I should not, and it did not work out for me. So,
well, if you're not going to give your people room to make decisions, you might as well do everything yourself, and you can't do everything yourself. Yep. So you get the people that you think you can trust to make those decisions, and you let them do it.
Yeah,
it's just what you got to do.
Absolutely.
So Jessica, Scotty does own the entirety of JY. So as far as like what my breakdown is and everything like that all is confidential. But Scotty does own the entirety of the company. So.
When you wave, it's tracked off.
If I could get 50% of systematic, that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be a good trade. Yeah.
I don't think people really recognize the value of the lithium companies in car audio versus the value of Excess Power as an AGM company. Like,
I grant you, you're probably right. Car audio is such a small niche, but there's a lot of other things out there.
Yeah. So to like put this in perspective, the 3 audio battery companies that come to mind are all of a very similar size. Like, realistically, like how many dealers we have, how much product we're all moving. It's not worlds. It's not like one person's out there doing 30 million and one person's out there doing 50,000.
Mm-hmm.
We are all in a very similar bucket, including the Excess Power kind of lithium side. That has been growing and is probably the biggest out of the 3. But the three sizes are not all that different. But then there's Excess AGM and Turbo Start, and that is what pays the bills.
Yeah,
that is what made it so Scotty was able to acquire Ioxys, because Scotty owns Ioxys outright. And Scotty also owns a nice big building in Knoxville that we've got some really cool plans for. I can't go into detail on what that may be, but really big stuff.
Is now I stopped at I'm gonna call it a pretty large strip mall. It wasn't really a strip mall, but it was like a what's the word? A warehouse.
Yeah.
Strip mall, you might say. I don't know what you call that. But that's where they were when I stopped by. It's been a year or two.
They're still there. Yeah, they're still there. The building that Scotty acquired probably will not be an Excess Power building. I can't really go into details on what it may or may not be, because that's still honestly in the air. We have there's thoughts and there's plans and there's possibilities and there's routes that are being worked on actively, but there's backup plan 2, 3, and 4 also. So being able to remain fluid to kind of go with the flow is much on Scotty's agenda as it is on mine, because that's what's kept JY around for so long, is us being able to pivot to different models as it made sense to. So
well, I've talked to Scotty only a couple of times. That's probably at Sundown Show, but don't know him very well. So conversations weren't very in depth, and all that kind of stuff. He seems to be, he listened, didn't talk much, So either he just don't like me or he's really smart because he knows to listen and not talk so much.
It's both. It's both. But until he really gets to know you, Scotty doesn't have a whole lot to say. He's reserved.
Yeah, he was very quiet.
Yes,
polite.
Very reserved. Yes. Yeah.
Polite.
No, he's not rude by any means, and he's very friendly. Even if you've made him mad, I've watched him deal with some people that he would love to throw him out by their neck but still,
Right.
like he's better in that department than I am.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I'm not very good there either.
my ass after a certain period. I think most of us do, but that is a
Yeah.
quality that Scotty brings to the table, is that
Yeah.
level-headedness and making sure we've got our eye on the prize. So
Well, that's cool.
yeah, Stacy and Greg Kelly. Yeah, that's the big facility that I'm talking about. So yeah, the newspaper is still there. Also,
Really?
so they are renting back from him, and then there's a couple other places going in there now. But just depending on
100.
some meetings this year and some really cool stuff that's going on. Like I said, I can't even hint at what it is, but man, if it happens, it's gonna be big.
Well, let me ask you this: the in-your-face products, okay, batteries that we all use, right? So, what is the products to buy now? You had some products for JY. Scott, XS has got some products, right?
Yep.
So, is some coming going? They're both going to be there.
Both are going to be so kind of as it stands right now. JY's got one crossover product that maybe two that we're going to end up pulling over from XS to JY. Can't announce what that is yet, just because I haven't announced it and it's not quite ready. But then the sodium products, they're not going to leak over one for one. I'm going to design XS Power their own line of sodium products. And I can't go too into depth on exactly what markets those are going to hit. Obviously, car audio will be one of them, and those will be here sooner than later. So right now, from XS Power, if you've got a starting situation, you're looking at a D series battery. You've always been looking at a D series battery. Things to note: if you're charging that D series battery at 13.8, it's going to die early, unless you regularly charge it. If you're overcharging it over 14.8, it's going to die early. If you are subjecting it to heats of 180 degrees, it's going to die early. And how do we know that all three of these things may happen? If it's puffing, if it's bulging on the sides, it's either gotten hot, it's been undercharged its whole life, or it got overcharged at some point. So if you send your battery in for warranty and they go, sorry, we can't warranty this, that's fucking bullshit.
But what do you do for people like me that's at 15.3, 15.7?
So you should probably look at one of the new sodium products. Do a battery delete up front.
I mean, I already bought some excess for the back, but I mean.
So if you have a large excess bank, then you can just do battery delete. Yeah. You don't need an upfront. If you have over 100 amp hours of lithium batteries,
I bought 10 makes.
Yeah. So you have a 400 something amp hour bank. Why do you need a starter battery? Unless your car doesn't like 15s and you have a separate charge system for them.
Well, I hope I'm going. I got 2 alternators. Yeah.
You're still in the Tahoe, right? Yeah, your Tahoe will be fine. So, 100%, you don't need a front battery. So don't put one under there. If you want to put something under there, there is a really cool product called the SB line. You put a capacitor bank under there. And capacitors are less prone to degradation in that heat range. So are they still going to degrade some? Sure. But when they degrade, are they going to blow up in your face? No. Also, they have 1 million cycles. So who gives a shit if we delete half those cycles with some heat? So oh my God, you get 7 years out of it. Oh no.
Right.
So also, if you don't want to put anything under there, you can stick an empty battery case, or you can just make it safe and get rid of that battery. You can keep a stock battery under the hood and just top it off every once in a while and just pull the negative off.
Got 2 battery deletes.
Yeah.
Because it has one there and one there. Because it was a actual fire marshal, whatever, but it has battery deletes on it. But I don't know. I always kind of wondered if I actually put a little something extra under the hood, if it would help.
Yeah, no. Unfortunately, any chemical reaction. And here's the deal: certain cars are gonna be fine. Like certain cars don't get hot under the hood, but a lot of cars do get hot under the hood.
Oh yeah.
It's a situation where it's extremely hard to make blanket statements, and making blanket statements is gonna get you in trouble. So if your car, if you have a really small engine, the battery's far away from the engine, and your car also is light colored, like if you have a silver car or a white car, it's gonna get less hot under there. So, but if you have a black Sprinter van, like one of my dealers, and we took a photo of this at Slam, and apparently some people were like, oh, they never posted pictures from Slam. We have a picture on the JY Facebook page that shows the front AGM getting to 180 degrees. This is why we don't recommend like anybody just throw something under a hood. I'm all like, even with sodium. So sodium, we've qualified. It is safe as safe can be. Safe as safe can be. Astros don't get hot. Yes, they do. Unless you're running with the hood open all the time. If you're running with the hood open, then they'll stay nice and cool. But
why would you?
But with sodium, if you get it up over 300 degrees, the cells start dropping out. They're just gonna die. Now that sucks for your battery, but you know what that's great for? Not venting.
Yeah.
Exactly, Jessica. Exactly. So like as far as safety goes, we've already qualified sodium for being safe for underhood. Now the question is, and now that we've done this merger, we can actually answer this question with confidence. What happens to it? How long is it going to last? So the cool thing about Ioxys is they have tons of laboratories, not just like battery laboratories, but like material science laboratories.
That's cool.
Yeah, so we're actually able to go in and like affect chemistry and play with things. That was not a JY. Oh, the JP40. Yes, sorry, I thought you said JY. I was like, that was not one of ours. But we'll swing back around to that, and yes, I can touch on that. So sodium is safe, but we have thermal cycling chambers at Ioxys, and they can cycle down to cold, and they can cycle up to hot. So we are going to go ahead and start playing with that to see if it's a viable solution. So, and it's probably going to be different cell to cell, and it'll still be different application to application. But we want to know, you know,
when you say cold though, how cold are you talking though? Because just say for instance, you know where I'm at and how cold it gets there. Sometimes it gets really, really cold. Sometimes it's like whatever.
Yeah.
But, I mean, when you're talking like 20 degrees negative, minus 20, whatever.
So this is a very good question, and this is I've been kind of shocked because you know, we were the first people to launch sodium, and I knew everybody else was going to launch sodium. You know, it's an inevitable thing. It's a great technology. I encourage other people to get into sodium. But like, if you're going to copy us, like at least pay attention. Sodium does amazing in the cold. Some of these other guys are saying that it doesn't do well below like 30 or some shit. We have 90% capacity retention at -20. There's not a lithium product on the market that can do that. They're stellar, and they don't have charge issues below 32 because the electrolyte changes. So, and those electrolyte changes are also why you don't have to worry about them venting. So,
that was the big issue, is that venting once it got too cold.
No, venting once they get too hot.
Yeah, they're not going to vent cold,
They're not
right?
going to vent when they're cold, but what they will do, lithium batteries, LTO may be different because they have a different. LTO does not refer to the active chemistry of the battery. It's actually the negative. LTO replaces a carbon. It doesn't replace NMC. So an LTO battery is still either an NMC battery, an LMO battery, or an LFP battery. But the negative side of it isn't
negative 40.
Negative side isn't carbon anymore. So, and when it's not carbon, it's not able to self-oxidize, which is why LTO becomes safer. But titanium is much less conductive than carbon, which is why we have the lower cell voltage and kind of the slower recharge time off the same power source. So, people don't understand LTO that well. It is not the active ingredient in what is going on. It's replacing the negative cathode.
So the sodium, I guess I'm gonna call it a sodium cell or a sodium battery.
Sodium ion battery.
So how are you guys selling those? You showed me the small ones, I believe, right?
So we've got one coming out in a D680, and that's going to be the new 20 amp hour. It's the normal AGM 20 amp hour size. But kind of the cool thing with this merger too. Excuse me, I need a little bit more water.
But I got the NTX, whatever. I'm sorry. Yeah.
NXT. So the cool thing about this merger is Excess Power has their own lids, and their lids have bigger copper terminals than anybody else has on the market. So everybody else has these smaller copper terminals, or they're running brass. And very small sodium batteries start to get way too much current passing for brass terminals. So if you're looking at large sodium batteries and they have brass terminals, you can only pass a couple hundred amps through that thing before it starts getting real toasty. So make those purchases wisely. Make sure these batteries are designed by people who know how to design batteries before you purchase them, or build your own. There's DIY sodium cells already out there. If you don't trust any of us to build a battery for you, go build your own. And that's not even me being a smartass. I am confident more than half of you out there can screw some things together. Now, you can't cry to anybody if it fails or if it goes bad.
Right.
And 9 out of 10 times, it's you guys screwing stuff up, not something that we have done. We cover that at JY. You kind of buy a warranty. So
you showed me a really small, almost the cell size of a AA battery, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so you guys can put a bunch of those together to make
No, that would be ridiculous. That's what we did for our beta batch. And actually that is what some of our competition has went to. And those are really good cells. But they don't have as tight of tolerances as some of the other cells that we started to work with after that, which is why they were the beginner batch or the beta batch. We wanted to get feedback with the best cells that we could get at the time, but the cells quickly got better. And we moved to a different vendor, and we're actually able to build our 20 amp hour sodium with the same amount of input labor as an NXT 2KF.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We went from 500 welds to a handful.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So for the base heads out here, what are they going to buy? That's sodium. What will they be purchasing?
So what we have coming out, hi Joe. We have a 20 amp hour that is going to be good for 1800 watts standalone, and realistically up to it's going to kind of be the price replacement for the old NXT. The old NXT actually, let's start at the bottom. The old NXT is getting recased into the small 4 amp hour plastic battery case. And what that allows us to do is drop the price from $399 to $329 without touching dealer margins, without touching performance. So cool. It's going to be just about the same exact size, but about 30% less. So that's
I love my NXT battery. I have 2 of them in my daily driver.
Everybody that has one, I have yet to see a real negative review, and we have thousands of them out there. It's fucking awesome.
Funny because I didn't do the big 3 upgrade or anything. I just have a negative and a power, just ran from the front to the back. That's it. On a factory alternator with 2 of your little batteries on a Wolfram 2K with a NSV or NSV5 10.
And that your voltage probably is fucking solid. So
I don't have a voltage meter. I don't want to know.
You don't even need to know, because that's what's great about the NXTs. As long as you're sitting in those power ranges, they're great. But they start getting expensive if you're doing big systems. So
that's what I was trying to find out. What are the guys that's doing the big systems? What are they going to wind up stacking to make
So we finally have base head products coming back out. We do have base head products coming back out. So we've got the 20 amp hour, and that is going to be a 1500 watt standalone with a 200 amp alt. Realistically, what you're looking at, you can run a 4K, 5K with it in the 450 price range.
Mm-hmm.
So we're coming in really aggressively there. You're getting twice the power of the old NXT, but it's only costing you $50 more.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So then we have, what is our next one? I think our next one is our 60. And our 60 amp hour is going to be coming in, I believe, at around 1100.
Uh-huh.
Let me
now compare that cost for me to, I don't mean for me, but I just mean in general, to, let's say, the 6 cell Yinlong excess power battery bank.
6 cell Yinlongs. So 6 cell Yinlongs give you 400 amps.
Yeah.
13 volts for about $600.
Okay.
Kit. Like comparatively, if you're just doing the cells and like buying your own aluminum and stuff, that's one thing. But if you're buying a full kit, which is what I'm going to compare, it's about $600 or just a little bit shy nowadays. And you're getting 400 amps or about 5,000 watts for that money. Standalone. Okay. So the sodium, our built sodium is below that in value a little bit, but not a whole lot. Now the 60, hold on a sec, I'm pulling up my
and the size difference of those two battery banks. What about that?
You can put about 3 of our sodiums in the same spot. So
so a lot more.
3 of the 20s. God, I have so many things. Hold on. Do something to distract him real quick.
Right.
That's pretty cool, though. I can't actually wait to see it.
This is where it'd be good if we had our sponsor commercial.
Yeah.
We are.
Okay, there we go. I found it. Now I just got to get to the right tab.
Recharge time. Yeah.
Jimmy, we've had an abnormally low amount of comments. I think people are nervous to talk to Travis.
I do too. It's because Travis is so smart. No one wants to talk to him. Just like,
I am kind of scary. I've heard this many times. People they quiver. So the MD60, or no, this is the MD60. This will be the 60 amp hour sodium. I have an old name in there. Actually, everything will be NXT now. Their differentiation will be, if it is a capacitor product, it'll be an NXT KF product. And if it will be
KF,
and then for batteries, it'll be AH. So very easy. If it has a farad rating, it's capacitor. If it has an AH rating, it's battery. Pretty easy.
Yeah. Sorry.
Caught my phone cord. So we have the 60 amp hour. That is going to be 5,500 watts standalone. You're going to run that for 6 to 9K systems in real terms, not like fairy godmother strikes lightning. You can do a solid 9K system with 250 amp realistically, and that's going to come in at $1149.99. So, and then we have the big $1149 for
60.
For the 60, and then we have the MD or the NXT 100 amp hour. This will come in a Group 31 case. It has 700 amps of continuous discharge rated. You're able to. A lot of people that have been testing sodium are rating things higher than I am, and it would be the same cell. If I take this MD100 and I charge it up to 15.8 and I put a 700 amp load on it, at the end of 30 seconds, you're at about 13.8. To a lot of base heads, that means, hey, I got a lot more gas left in the tank. And you actually do. But as far as long-term cell health, that beating it up that above that level will considerably lower the lifespan of the battery pack, realistically. Will your voltage be okay? Sure. Are you overheating the cells, though, and putting them in a position where that thermal data needs to be looked at again? Yes. And I've done thermal cycling up into the 135, 140 range in my own vehicle. So I've got data collected for that. But I'm not going to rate our stuff higher than this just because the voltage says that you can do it. We look at the battery as a whole and say, hey, is this managing this well?
Yeah.
And we have full copper busing in all of our batteries. So, we're not cheaping out and doing a bunch of nickel and going, oh, well, the nickel busing won't take it. Yeah, no, we have custom tooled busing to every single battery. We do everything we're supposed to do to develop a high power battery that is going to remain safe for people and remain reliable over time. So, so I saw somebody say their answer or their question. Limitless does have their own line of sodium batteries. Yes, there's a couple other companies selling sodium. We were actually the first company in the world to have a 12-volt sodium-ion battery available anywhere. So that was kind of a cool thing that we beat everybody to market, which was actually one of the reasons why Scotty was kind of interested in this, was because this was not the first time that we were the first. We were the first to start putting metal cases on lithium batteries, and then that became very popular. We are the first company to have a lithium-ion capacitor, and those have been an amazing product that have kind of changed that portion of the dealer market. Dealers want an NXT kind of forever now, because of reliability and them doing what they say, fitting anywhere, being able to make money on them, and now the sodium. So, in the course of years, JY has 3 firsts that set trends in the market for the most popular products in the market. So, so yeah, no, and I'm not going to trash anybody else's product or anything like that. I may eat my words, but the cool thing is no matter who you're buying sodium from, it's still probably going to be the safest option out of anything that they have that they can offer you. So sodium is very, very, very safe. Even if you screw it up, the chance of a fire coming from the actual battery is very, 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 very low. Like, I'm overcharging cells and cutting them in half, and they don't ignite. And there's going to be videos of this. Like, I've posted videos of us cutting them in half. I haven't posted the ones of me overcharging it and then cutting it in half. So, yeah.
So what is the cost of these NXT 2KFs?
The cost right now of the fully printed versions is made $399, and they're going to be going to $329 on the new. And
that I'm looking at a photo of them. They're 50 amp.
60 amp continuous, 120 amp long pulse. You can actually do a full cycle at that 120 amps, but that becomes us re-rating the battery. The cells in the NXT are actually rated at 30C, but we actually rate them for daily use at about half that because of thermal reasons. You can go through a cycle or two at that full discharge rate, but your temperatures are going to skyrocket. So
I got you. And this is what Jimmy has on his. What'd you say, Jimmy? What amp?
2K.
But 2K, sorry. Yeah, it's 2K Wolfram.
Wolfram. Okay.
Yes,
yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. These are the ones that are small enough to put right in your hand, right?
They're like tiny. It's kind of amazing. Just I have 2 of them linked in the back, and it's like, wow.
Yeah. And the cool thing about it is they work at 13.8, they work at 14.8, they work at 15.8, so they can go in like the new model Teslas. They can go in the old. They're actually really popular in Teslas right now. We get quite a few installs in Teslas with them because they are the least expensive option. Because your next option is either like a Yinlong bank, which if you have a Tesla, you're probably not putting a Yinlong bank in there. but you're going to start looking at like a 5S
Maybe.
Titan product or a 6S LT or 6S Titan product, because the newer Teslas have a 15.5 power supply in them. You no longer can put a 12-volt battery in those. You have to have
Wow.
either a sodium. You can put an NMC in there, but don't. There's two really good options, and one of them is not expensive.
Don't.
Just don't. Like, why? Like, a 20 amp hour sodium is not that much bigger that it won't fit in your freaking frunk. Just buy the sodium replacement and be a happy camper. It'll work better than your stock Tesla. I guarantee it. So, and it'll be safer. Like, I'm not a fan of the drive batteries. And I suspect that the drive batteries are the same thing that they're putting in their smaller lithiums. I have not taken one apart yet because I'm terrified to. Because if they're the same batteries and I nick one of those cells, that thing's going off like a small nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
Huh.
yeah, those Tesla drive batteries are called NCA, nickel, cobalt, aluminum. And if you know anything about making bombs, what we put in bombs to make them explode more is aluminum powder, because it helps in the oxidization process. So it feeds more fuel to the fire. It increases yield. And legitimately, if you poke a Tesla 18650, you better run.
Really?
Oh yeah, man. It makes the tests that we've been doing look like the cell is doing nothing. And realistically, the cell is doing nothing. It looks like it was hot at one point, and like you might see a little vapor trail coming off of it, but there's
Right.
nothing actively like coming out. So
that's scary.
yeah, I won't be
That's
cutting
scary.
one of those batteries apart.
Mm.
Like, somebody can find out for me, and I'll learn from their mistakes.
We've had some fun with some C-Max batteries here in my backyard. Quite a few
Oh
times.
yeah,
Just trying to see what they'll do. Different charged, overcharged, undercharged.
I'll tell you.
I've shot with a gun before out in my backyard.
Guns are fine. Everybody makes a big deal about that. I'm like, well, it didn't blow up when I shot it with a gun. I was like, yeah, you took the dead short out right away.
Right.
Like, you blew a hole in it. You didn't short it out.
That's it.
So,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. That kind of test is that's just still information to be had there. But
It was
for CMAX cells, what we have found very, very early on when everybody started playing with them, they need a containment system in case they do try and vent and they do try and puff. That vapor needs to go somewhere. So that's number one. Number two, if you do not fully charge the cells, even for puncturing, they are nowhere near as dangerous as if they are fully charged. So, and I mean, if you have mid 15s, low 15s, the difference in that and having them at 16 flat or 16.4 can burn your whole car down. There's a chance in the 15s you could shove a sword through that thing and it might make a mess, but it probably won't catch on fire. So,
sword.
and that's where a lot of these guys come in. They're like, well, I've never had a problem. Blah, 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 blah. I fucking had C-Max in my car for 5 years. And it's like you charged it at 14.8 that whole time, and you're using like a 90 to power a 5K. Like, yeah, I'm sure that shit has went swell for you. Like, I'm not against people recycling batteries, and I think NMC is great when you're working in like a really small space and you're willing to take the necessary precautions and liability if something goes wrong with it. Like, Carlos knows that if something goes off in that van, he's not going to be able to pull those batteries. Like, it's just it. That's it. He's accepted that as a liability. Somebody that's driving their daily car around may not make that same choice. But Carlos also does a really good job of not charging it up all the time. He maintains every single one of his banks. He checks balance on all of them. And he doesn't realistically use it that much. I know his burps seem big to people, but as far as the batteries are concerned, he's got so many of them, he's not stressing them out ever. You know, they're seeing little pulses that are well within what they're designed to do. So
How much does he have?
a boatload. He has like 6 or 7 or 8 banks hidden
I
throughout.
think he has like 8 banks.
Yeah.
I'm not for sure, but I think it's 8 banks.
And this
If
is
Jessica's
C-Max?
still in here, she can say, but
So that's probably what 500-600 amp hours, I guess.
Oh, it's a lot. It's
Let's say
quite a
6
bit.
or 7, probably.
We've
but,
we've discussed doing NXTs, but he would have to do the same thing with NXT cells. They'd end up filling the whole thing, and if we replace all that just to do nothing,
Prince is
did we
a
help him at all? And if we're not going
Yeah.
to help him by putting the stuff in there, I don't want to fucking
Right.
do all the work.
It's a lot of
and push
work
him.
for nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no reason to even push him on it. So we did the
Yeah.
math one night. And we're like, yeah, this doesn't make sense, and that's okay. You know, the,
Yeah.
the NXT is a retail product. It doesn't necessarily make sense that it go in one of the either the loudest or one of the loudest vehicles in the entire world. So
Yeah.
he's got a budget that he has to work on, even though it's a big budget. they put a lot of money into that van and
Yeah.
continue to put a lot of money and time into that
I
van.
mean, we have to though to keep it that loud. Seriously,
Yeah,
100.
yeah. So saving money on all of that is kind of a no-brainer, you know.
Well, I tell you, man, he does. He did a 186 and change with us, and I think at DB Drag or Mecca, RP did a little bit louder. I've not heard Carlos's opened up. I personally never have. I know he's done it, but I just haven't heard it. But I heard RP's opened up, playing over 80, and I'm gonna just tell you, man, that is loud. That's
yeah.
loud. You're not gonna walk up into the door of a vehicle playing an 83. You're not gonna do it.
No,
I was really surprised at how loud that
that'll
is.
make your guts up.
Yeah,
Greg Corbin can kind of attest to some of that, but
yeah, he does.
as far
82,
as
right?
design goes, I'm kind of Carlos is my local boy, and I'm always going to root for him. But
Yeah.
I like RP's approach better of having
Mhm.
tons of small subs. It's what I would do. Do the same
Mhm.
thing, split all that power up. You know you're going to use a considerable amount of power, so make sure you got enough coil to never
Dropping some heat.
Yeah, but you're generally trading off some mechanical throw.
Yeah,
So it becomes this like balancing point. But I have a feeling that it's going to be an uphill battle, and he has fought that uphill battle only having 6 subs. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
yeah,
but it's amazing what they have done as individuals alone. It's amazing what both of them have done and where they both have gone.
yeah.
So,
That's loud, man. 186 is loud.
Yeah, and
I mean-
and I think Greg might be able to bust a 182 now. Now that we have the DSP in there.
I think he's got a 180 with us, doesn't he?
Yes, yeah, he's done over 181. Now he's
Yeah.
looking at trying to break a 182, I believe.
Right.
So we don't know that it's going to go up as high as all the other guys because he's got a unique cabin and there's other considerations that he's not going
Yeah,
to
that's
fill it
just
full
still-
of cement
that's still-
and
wow.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
He still has
wants to
the
be able
guys
to drive
around, though, right?
this is as far as I know, he is the only person in the world that owns a 180 vehicle that can drive it on a fucking highway.
Man, you know what would be terrible to be cruising and playing a little music and hit a
And
bump
split.
and bump that knob.
I think that's something we may actually do is put a tune on him that stops that from ever happening.
Yeah.
So then he can switch between the tunes. But
I mean, knob short out, something, you know. What are you going to do?
and
He's
for
gotta be
anyone
careful jumping out.
wondering, the reason we put the DSP in is because he's got so many amps that setting all those crossovers correctly with pots is dumb. I'm sorry, it's 2024. We shouldn't be doing any of this by hand anymore. You shouldn't be having to hook up a freaking voltmeter and play tone and find out when it starts to attenuate. No, you get on your fucking DSP, you run that thing into a splitter, you open everything up wide open,
Right.
and then you say, hey,
Pretty
I'm
much,
setting-
right?
and what's crazy is you don't set it like you would a normal sound quality setup, because like mine, I'm crossed to 70 and you go, well, Greg doesn't burp at 70 hertz, so why? No, it starts to attenuate way before that, and that's
Yeah.
at 70 hertz. You're 24 dB down.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So we actually ended up setting it, I believe, at like 100 or 120 hertz, and he saw some
Dang.
big efficiency jumps. So
Bet
we'll
he
see
did.
once he gets his mic and the actual mic are different. So we'll see what the gains were. But he saw gains, and if he sees
Okay.
gains on his mic, he usually sees way big gains on the other mics.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that all that comes down to making sure the crossovers on all the amps were the same.
Right.
That can cause issues alone. So if you have one amp, not that big of a deal. You have as many as he has.
Kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
He's got what, 8, 12, 16? Hell,
Yeah.
how many we got now?
I think he has
12 sub amps, I'd assume.
doesn't he have 8 18s?
Is it 8 or 6? I don't know.
I think it's 8.
I was
Pretty
8.
sure it's
Well,
8.
then he's probably got 16 sub amps. Yeah.
He brings the thing to work all the time, and I don't even look into it.
He changed.
Right.
He stood there for a couple of minutes. And he kept going back and forth, but I believe it's 8.
It's 8. It's 8. I was right. Yeah, it's 8.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
crazy.
8 18, 6th order. It's pretty
Mm. Well, he,
Very nasty. Very, very nasty.
yeah.
good. So,
I wouldn't even begin to just even remotely think about sitting inside.
oh no, I won't. I don't get inside either. I help with the tune shit from outside.
Mhm.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No, I'm good on all that. Good
No.
on all that. So
No, absolutely not.
SPL is cool from a distance. I don't get in that no more.
8-15s,
8 those are 18s, bud.
18s, 8-18s, sir.
8 18s. Yep.
High 60s, and I'm ready to get out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want no more. Don't want no more.
That's about it. Like,
I'd probably have to agree.
honestly, anything much over 63 anymore, I can do it. Like, I got
Yeah.
in Fishbowl, and I don't know how high Daniel took it up, but he's like, I gave you like probably a 66, 67. And I was like, okay, cool. I didn't want that much.
That's enough.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not that I can't do it. It's that
No,
I've
just
been
don't
doing
want
this for
to.
15
Want
years.
to. Exactly. I don't want
You know how different a 65 feels from a 65 from a 65 from a 65 that I've felt a dozen times before. So,
Right.
a lot of people want to get me back for sticking them in the cube, even though I told everybody, don't get in there. It's really fucking
Right.
loud. It's gonna hurt, and they're like, blah, 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 blah. And then they get in there like, you hurt me. I'm like, no, you hurt yourself. You got in there. You saw everybody bailing out, and you just jump right back
Yeah,
in.
you still
That's
crawled
what you
in. Yeah.
100.
Yeah.
I think I might be out for the Excess Power show, but I don't think I'll be out for High Voltage, unfortunately. I'll probably be out for Excess Power show. I'll be out
What
for
about
Sundown
Ruckus?
show. So
What about Ruckus?
no, not Ruckus.
No Ruckus?
Ruckus is way too compacted with all the other stuff I have going on at that time. Because I have SEMA that I have to be at. So, and then we have multiple other events that go on kind of around that. So it's a rough time. And then we turn around and have Thanksgiving, and my fucking family wants to see me, those greedy sons of bitches. So
Right.
they
Yeah.
request a little bit of my time
You're so-
occasionally.
Yeah. Mm.
But no, congratulations. I'm glad that, you got hooked up with an amazing partner, and things are going to go well for you.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited, especially after meeting the team and learning who I'm going to be able to work with and what challenges we're looking to overcome, and setting up strategies to kind of attack those. So,
Now, the last question is, and it's a big one. Okay.
oh boy.
What's it like to be a billionaire now?
I'm on my fourth Lamborghini this week, and
Right.
I just keep fucking crashing them because it's raining. So
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
back to me in a couple
Totally.
months once I get some traction going,
Yeah.
and I'll let you know what's faster, the McLaren F1 or the F40. And
Yeah, yeah.
we'll see.
Well, y'all got a track right out there where you go check it out.
Yeah,
Got space.
Right there, yeah. Absolutely.
Yep.
You got a figure 8 track and an extra long track. So
Mhm.
you got both of them.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get something set up out at that racetrack for a long time, but that motherfucker's expensive. So
Yeah.
They don't play out there. That insurance too.
Ah,
Yeah, it's wicked.
That's a
wicked.
lot of money.
It is a lot
For
of
a
money.
weekend.
Yeah. But just going to cost you, 3 times the median household income. It's no big deal.
Right.
We make it accessible to get
Be
events
okay,
going.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool.
But no,
Absolutely.
I can't wait. I think some of the changes are going to be amazing. Obviously, you know that, but
Yeah.
I can't wait to see some of the new things that are coming out. I really can.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, and I mean, I think people know about the vast majority of what's coming out on our end, and there'll be some new products for XS, and because I'm pretty open about development. We've always got something. I've got some really cool stuff I'm working on right now, and we'll see if it is able to come out this summer or maybe in the winter. But some more new tech that is going to be pretty big, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Cool.
Never ends.
Mm.
Yeah, if nobody has any questions or anything,
Yeah.
We probably could come up with 1 million of them, but I won't do that to you.
No, absolutely.
Oh, cool, guys.
No.
I appreciate you guys having me on. So
No, thank you for
No, man.
chatting with us, for real. I appreciate it.
absolutely. So we'll have to do it again once show season gets started. We actually have so for everybody watching, we're looking at about March release for all of our new products, and they'll be available from a JY Power near you. We have 135 dealers. If you guys are interested in getting signed up as a dealer, we have wonderful margins, and we have dealer protected territory. So if you get a hold of the guys at Vault Marketing, Kevin or Douglas will be able to get you taken care of. They also have a bunch of other brands that if you have a shop, they will make it so you can be profitable and you can make it
Now,
through what's going on right now.
And this is predominantly brick and mortars, right?
Yes, only brick and mortars, no online sales. So
Protect your people.
Basement, that's not fair.
Brett said re-ask this, and I don't see what this is. Oh, hold on. What do I think of Skibs? Skibs are great. That's what's in all the Titan products. I absolutely love them. But if you've listened to me about LTO for years, there's a place and time for it. Are you going to use this to beat the hell out of something for hours on end? No. It's going to be a 20, 30-minute battery if you're using it at its maximum potential. Doesn't matter how big you make the bank. Like if you're using it at its maximum potential, like if you have 1,000 amp hour bank, but you're drawing 250,000 watts off of it, it's still only going to last you that amount of time. And LTO, because it is a 5-cell, 6-cell product, just is not going to recharge the same off of an alternator as an LFP battery or an NMC or a sodium or our LIC. And case point here, a lot of people will switch from like LFP over to LTO and they'll go, man, my alternators don't squeal anymore. It's because they're not under load, because they don't recharge at the same rate. It's not that LTO can take a bigger recharge than like an LFP battery, but getting it into it, you're going to need a much larger power supply than you will with the LFP battery. It's plain and simple. Doesn't matter how you break it up. We've tested every single cell on the market, and Skibs do the best. Skib 10s last the longest. And the way we do this, we put them on a power supply, and then we put an amplifier on there, and then we let it play until it crosses below 13.0. Once it crosses below 13.0, we go, hey, this is where our customers would say, hey, I'm dipping a little too low. Can you keep running it? Absolutely. That's up to you and your equipment. But we have to put a test on it. And for 12-volt batteries, that's 12.0. And for 13-volt batteries, that's 13.0. So in every single test we did, it was between 20 and 30 minutes. The worst cells were Yanlongs, and the best cells were Skib 10s. So does that mean Skibs are only ever going to last you 20 minutes? No, not at all. Like, depends on how you're playing, and I doubt you actually have your stereo up for a solid 20 minutes. But if we're talking about going to slam, you want to play for 4 hours on end, and you don't want to take a break, don't buy an LTO product. It doesn't matter what brand it is. And you're going to say, well, I want to charge in the 15s. Well, if you're dead set on that, you're either buying sodium or you're buying NMC. You could go be a billionaire and buy an NXT bank too, but I would highly recommend against that. But if you want to play all day long, sodium's probably going to be that. But a sodium battery is about a 3,000 to 4,000 cycle battery, where a premium Titan battery is a 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 cycle battery. So it depends on what you're doing. You know, if you need to pull a ton of power out of a small spot and doing that for 20, 30 minutes at a time fits the bill, LTO is a great option. And Titans are a great option. If you're charging at 14.8, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but the XS Power X-Max, their new kit. So they have a kit with 22 amp hour cells, and they'll for $1,000 you get a 90 amp hour LFP with compression kit, balancer, all the top hardware that you need, a plexiglass cover so you can't drop shit on top of it. People are messaging me. Maybe not. But sorry, too many screens. And for $1,000, you get a 9,000 watt standalone battery. It's a 10C 90 amp hour LFP battery. You're gonna have a time beating that. Even in DIY, can you beat it in DIY? Absolutely. If you're able to source all of your own little pieces and nickel and dime it everywhere, it's still going to be cheaper. But you know how many people have been looking for a good kit option? They're like, I'm comfortable putting my own battery together, but I'm not comfortable sourcing my own battery. I don't know who to buy from.
Yeah.
Who to trust. X-Max and 14.8 volt charging, that is a great option. Sodium works at 13.8, but you're only going to get 50% capacity. Sodium at 14.8 gives you 75% capacity, and sodium at 15.8 gives you 100% capacity. So, realistically,
and the life cycle, the number of cycles for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what if you're at 15.8 and you're doing that 100% cycle, or that 100%? How many cycles do you have at 100%?
On sodium, you're looking at 3,000. On the specific cells that we use for our audio batteries.
And that would be like full cycles. So the half cycles or quarter cycles that you do.
It way more than doubles. So the less you're actually pulling in through there, the vastly higher it goes. So, but comparatively, realistically, they'll probably outlast a lot of lithium batteries just because of the abuse resistance. So you can actually take them all the way down. You can take sodium all the way down to 0 volts and bring it all the way back up. I've done it 100 times on a pack already, and it has not affected the capacity. So with LTO, you're supposed to be able to do that, and you can do that most of the time, but occasionally the cells won't come back. Like I know some cases where people are like, hey, my bank went down and I lost like one out of my big bank. So it's not often that LTO won't come back. LFP, bro, you could possibly be playing with a firebomb there, depending on what kind of cell it is. Or old K2 cells, they'd come back fairly regularly, but like the HP 40s, if you took it below 10, there was like a 50-50 chance that thing was dead. And ask Pippin. Pippin brought his down to like 3 volts, and he thought he was able to revive them. I walked him through the whole process of disassembling it to do it safely, and like it took him like a week to do, and then they just fucking
boom.
They're dead. They're dead. So those were really good batteries. There's a lot of batteries designed around the HP 40, but they were not resistant to being over discharged. If you over discharged them, this was not a good day. So
well, cool.
Cool. Any other questions, guys?
I think that's it, sir.
Cool.
What's for dinner?
I don't know, but it smells good.
I know. I see dinner back there.
Yeah, I'm not sure yet, and she's upstairs, so
right.
Go find out. So.
Awesome.
Well, all right, sir.
So,
we appreciate you.
I appreciate you guys, and we'll be seeing you at shows this year. So,
see you soon.
Have a good night.
See you. All right, Jimmy, you want to give us the send off?
Yes, sir. I think I will. All right. Do you have video here? We'll do. Yes, sir. All right. Have a great night.